Okay, I'm just going to start this video by saying that everybody's on edge. I mean, everybody's being pushed to the extremes on all levels. We've just been going around in circles. That's all anybody's doing. Everybody's playing the hurry up and wait game. They don't know what the government's going to do. Everything is confusing. One day they say one thing, the next day they say something else. And they've started pitting everybody against everybody else. And it's really amazing just to sit back and watch it. It's even happening on my channel. People are snapping over some of the most petty things you can imagine, like the mouse clicking. If you think the mouse is clicking bothers you, then this might not be a video for you. Because not only is my mouse clicking, but I got me a new chair to sit in to do my videos. Well, it's new to me. Of course, it's not a new chair. I shop at garage sales, right? So, but it makes noise. It's very noisy. So, trigger warning, mouse clicking, and noisy, not new chair. So I have a best day ever story to tell you. If you think things are bad for you, wait till you hear this one. So Kelly has made a new friend. Around here, there are no leash laws. There's nothing. You live on the reservation. There are minimal laws. This is something I really do like about this place. I always have. But that tends to the dogs in the neighborhood. They all know each other, and they run around in packs. And we have this one, he's a medium-sized dog, and it tends to be the males, by the way. This one little medium-sized dog, and he has a couple of chihuahuas and some terriers that follow him around, all these little mixed dogs. And they kind of go through the neighborhood and just do their thing. They don't bother anybody. They'll walk out in the middle of the street. You kind of got to wait on them or blow your horn. But one of the little terriers has found Kelly. And so he keeps coming down here. They live on the other end of the street. On this end of the street, all my neighbors seem to have cats. And we can hear the dogs in the distance. They bark at night. Kelly goes out and they do this little, one will bark and then the other, and it just goes around in a circle, and they all talk to each other like a bunch of coyotes. So this one little terrier keeps finding his way down here, and he's so small, and I'm afraid he's going to get run over, and he don't want to go home. So I scoop him up and I take him home. Well, I met the young man that he belongs to. And he was talking about what all's going on and telling me how hard it's been. He has lost his job. He's had to move back in with his mother. He had just bought a brand new truck, so he's got all these notes and insurance, and he's looking for work and this and that. The same woes that you hear a lot of us. So I decided to help him out and kind of hire him as a handyman around here to help with some things. At least that was my intention. So I recently found me a little swing to put out on my porch at a garage sale, and it wouldn't fit in my van. So he had the truck. So I offered to pay him to move it for me. And he said no, that was the neighborly thing to do, that he wouldn't charge me. He would move it for me for free because I keep bringing his dog back home. So, which is new to the neighborhood too. His dog moved with him in with his mother. So it's actually his dog, not their dog. And so he's following me back to the yard sale to pick up the swing. And we're sitting at a red light. There's a few cars in front of me, and he's behind me. And as I go through the red light, I'm just on the other side under the red light, and I hear bam. And I look in my rearview mirror, and he's been T-boned. And by the time I'm looking in the rearview mirror, I'm hearing the second crash and another crash. And somebody had ran the red light and T-boned him and threw him into the lane of more oncoming traffic. And he got hit from the side T-boned to the side into the other lane, hit head on by the car coming at him, and thrown back into the other lane and hit another car before everybody could get stopped. It happened so fast. I panicked. I immediately pulled over and ran back down to the scene. Somebody had, by the time I even got pulled over and back down there, somebody had already called the police. So this is a small town. You can literally hear the sirens before I even get back. They're on their way. And the ambulance come and they take him to the emergency room. He's bleeding. He's done hit. The front windshield is gone. The back window is gone. The side window's gone. He's been hit in the side, the front, and the other side. Everywhere but the back. He got plowed. The car behind him did get brakes on before he slammed into him. So he got hit on 3 sides. They took him to the emergency room, and of course, they won't let me in. Hospital rules around here are, I assume like they are everywhere else. No, not even family can get in unless it's like a parent that needs to be with the child. And they don't even have a waiting area for you. You kind of got to wait out in the parking lot. So I'm wait out in the parking lot, and they're letting me come in every few minutes, and they try to give me some updates, but they can't really tell me a whole lot because I'm not family. I get in touch with his family. They know what's going on. They come up there, and I'm beside myself. I feel awful. He's doing me this favor, and I was just freaking out, really, way overstimulated over the whole thing. So it's several hours, and he finally, they release him to go home. And he had a cast on. It crushed his left arm, and some stitches and stuff. But other than that, he was going to be all right. And I'm trying to be very apologetic to him, and he's trying to calm me down. And he's telling me that I'm looking at this all the wrong way, because as far as he's concerned, this was the best day ever. He was so freaking happy, he was beside himself. While I'm sitting out in the parking lot freaking out, not knowing what's going on, not wondering if he's got internal injuries. Is he going to be maimed for life? I don't know anything. I mean, all this crazy shit's going through my head. But while he's inside celebrating, because now he don't have to make truck payments anymore. Everybody had insurance, so it's going to pay off for him. And he said, and the best part, now his mom can't, he's got a cast on his arm, so his mom can't make him rake the yard or vacuum and sweep the floor, which I thought was hilarious. And that's kind of how we need to look at the whole beer bug thing, is this needs to be the best day ever. We have all this free time on our hands now that we can be doing things that we never had the time to do before. And to read books. And even if you don't like to read books, audio books are awesome. I love audio books. I love to it reminds me of the old Masterpiece Theater at night. So to him, I did him the biggest favor ever. And needless to say, I never got the swing moved, but that's another story for another day. But best day ever. That's how we really need to approach this whole thing, because they're trying to make it the winter of our discontent. That's what this is. This is the winter of our discontent. Well, it don't feel very much like winter around here to me. As a matter of fact, here it is late November, and it's still in the 70s here. And we've been in the upper 50s, 60s at night. It's actually been freaking awesome weather here. We had a short cold snap that's knocked most of the leaves out of the trees. Everything's changed colors. But it's what I call an Indian summer, to where summer you never have a winter. So the weather here is just freaking awesome. But this needs to be the best day ever, every day. And it's just how we choose to look at the world. We can spend our time out in the parking lot panicking, or we can be sitting in the ER celebrating what has just happened. because now he don't have to worry about the truck payments or the insurance payments. And to him, it was a huge burden lifted off of him in a single moment. So he was very, very grateful. All right, now what I want to talk to, that we've got everybody in the right mindset. We've cleared that up, so let's clear up a little bit of understanding here. Now, the first thing I want to do is we're going to talk about symbols in the Chi-Rho again. There's been a lot of misunderstanding and confusion, and I just want to go over this one more time and clear it up. And I have another trigger warning. Kelly has decided to start grooming, so you're going to hear some pretty weird noises in the back along with the chair and the mouse. Chi-Rho. It's what I call the XP, and there are many different variations for it, and you see it everywhere, like the two symbols on the side, the air symbol and the omega symbol. That represents Libra. Air and omega is Libra, and this up here is Aries. So when you add the omega and the air symbol, and you see the variations of it, the different variations of how they do it. Here's one with several of them on it. It gives you a better idea of how they use the symbols, and to put it in a circle. To put it in a circle makes it really powerful. And check this one out. They've even anchored it. They've anchored it. The fiery serpent on the pole, and they've anchored it. And the anchor itself almost looks like constellations in there. Pitted iron, rusted iron. Put them in the circle with the mantra around the circle. The mantra. Now, I got an email that somebody had taken the symbol and was using it on one of the other platforms. And instead of, let me take us to a page. Okay. So what they did was take the symbol and reversed it and did this with it to disempower that. What this is what I call toxic masculinity. Because, well, actually, this is not the correct one. Hold on, let me change this. There we go. The other one had another line in it, that line across the middle, and that changed the symbol from the way I want to talk about it. So they did this. When it does this right here with just what we call the P on top, which in the Egyptian, when you're looking at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, it will look like that. And that is Aries and then Libra on the bottom. Because it goes all the way through. And this one here, you have the X over the P. The original symbol that is very disruptive is the P over the X. But to turn it around like this just switches from the masculine to the feminine. It still has no balance. The other one had balance because it had the line through it. Or to really balance it, you do this. Or this. You complete the symbol. You add the rest of the cardinal cross to it. Cardinal cross. Looks like an arrow pointed up. Cardinal cross. That's what this represents. But it's only got one side of the arrow, which I call toxic masculinity. If you do it that way, then you just have toxic femininity with no balance. No balance. The whole idea is to balance the symbol out. Now, let's go back to a group of them. I'm just going to go through some of the different variations of them and talk about them, so it'll give you a better idea of how we look at these symbols and what we're actually looking at and how the powers are used. Because mostly when you look at this, you think they're all the same, but they're not. Like this one here. This one has the symbol that comes across to balance it. This bar right here is going to represent part of the fixed cross. So within here you have the mutable cross, the fixed cross, but only the masculine part of the cardinal cross. So all of the constellations are represented right here except Capricorn and Cancer. All of them. You'll see that in different variations. Like here, they've put it on the cross. So you have the fixed cross, the mutable cross, and the cardinal cross. Again, the mutable cross is an X, the fixed cross is the small letter T, and the cardinal cross is the arrow up, which actually should be done this way. The cardinal should be on top. In alchemy, or in Freemasonry especially, and some of the other traditions, when you talk about the three crosses, the mutable cross is the adept. The fixed cross is the master. And the cardinal cross is the grand master, or what I call the general manager, the grand master, the general manager, the GM. And that's their rank and power over one another. So here, when, like they've put the X over the P's broken here in this one. It's not a proper symbol that they're using against us today. You would find this symbol at the beginning of the age, the first deacon of the age of Pisces, which was the end of the age of Aries here. So you have the mutable age coming in to replace the previous age. And the previous age, Aries, represented by Moses and his brother Aaron, they killed their sister Miriam, and she was eaten by the earth. Earth, Capricorn, Cancer, water. That feminine part of it, that feminine part. They got rid of it. They got rid of the other part of the symbol. So it's when we came into the age of Pisces, this was the symbol used. It was the first deacon. And it's proper in its time, but it's no longer proper, okay? This is where we're having a lot of issues. Is not is the symbol good or bad, is it in its proper time? So you have the P for the previous age, which should have looked like that, or again like that, or that. They're all good. Feminine version, masculine version, and then the X over it, because the mutable age is replacing the cardinal age. So that symbol's correct for the first 720 years of this age. And then the second deacon, we move into a pure X with no P. It was supposed to be gone. It's not gone. The Templars carry this symbol. This is a Templar symbol when you add a little hook. That little hook right there, that is the symbol of the Templars, to mark where they go. And it's a pure feminine symbol for this age. And I guess they add the hook so they could identify which group actually marked the symbol. You'll find it, they built a lot of the cathedrals and everything, so you'll find it predominantly in places like Portugal is huge with this symbol. Scotland, and I want to call it the Rose Temple, but there's another name for it. You people in Scotland can clue me in on that. It's a rose temple or something. But the big temple there the Templars built, it carries this symbol. So this is the middle. Every age in 3 deacons. 3 deacons. You can look at it like this. You can look at it like that. So, and the last age of the symbol is supposed to bring in the cross. Now you have, as we move from Pisces, the X, to Aquarius the T. So now the T is taking power in the X. Actually, it should be the X with the T coming in over the top of it. Just like here. Here the X is over the P. Well, we need the T over the X. You need the T over the X. It's not XT, it's TX. It's Texas. It's TX. And that's the symbol for the last deacon of Pisces, the first deacon of Aquarius, is to blend the two symbols, showing moving from one age to the other. In the second deacon, so we have for Aquarius, there'll be three symbols, and it'll be the X over the T, and let me do it bigger, so you can see. I keep showing you. I keep telling y'all, this is the symbol for now. This is the symbol we're supposed to have. And you connect the dots. Now, a lot of you are starting to make logos and symbols. You're sending me emails, and I'm going to start adding a lot of them into the community page on my channel so we can share amongst ourselves the correct rainbow flags, the correct symbols. Now, the symbols, the astrological symbols that go with this is actually Saturn and Jupiter. Jupiter rules the age of Pisces, and Saturn rules the age of Aquarius. So we have also Saturn over Jupiter. We have the T over the X. As we move into the second decan of Aquarius, you'll move to just the pure T. Just the pure T with no X, no cardinal, and no mutable attached. Now, we're told the next two ages are one age. It's world without end. World age without end. Because Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn. So it is not a problem at all to introduce that. Saturn doesn't rule the masculine part, Saturn rules the feminine part. But it needs balanced. It can't stand there like that. But it's this one that'll balance it. Let me show you. I think we're going to get a whole new set of symbols, which is the new zodiac and all of that. We're going to get a whole new set of symbols. That remains to be seen what that is. But I have considered it. Let me do it over here. The T, and then you'll have a line that goes this way. And that, I always prefer it whole. But that is a symbol of what the next age will be, but it won't be with the X. It'll be with the T. If you put it here, it's not balanced. But the next age, because the two are one, Capricorn and Aquarius, you have the symbols. There are three symbols that rule the next two ages as one. And that's going to be the symbol of Saturn over the symbol of the Sun and the symbol of the Moon. Speaking of the symbol of the Sun and of the Moon, let me show you something. Okay, we talked about Freemasonry and the pillars and what they represent and where the planets are on it. So the checkerboard floor, you have the entered apprentice, which is Virgo. You have the altar, which is Taurus. And you have right here where earth meets air, where the checkerboard floor meets the ladder. That's cardinal earth. Then you have Gemini, or Capricorn. Then you have Gemini on the ladder, Aquarius halfway up, and Libra at the top. On the solar pillar, you have Jupiter at the bottom, with the sun in the middle and Mars on top as cardinal fire. That's important to remember. Then you have Jupiter on the bottom of the water pillar, Mars in the middle, and the moon on top of the lunar pillar. Scorpio, you have Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. You have Sagittarius on the solar with Leo in the middle and Aries on top. So the whole zodiac fits into here, right? Well, when you look at the two pillars, there are two symbols that go with the two pillars. And believe it or not, it's not the sun and the moon. You do have the moon for the lunar pillar. You do have the moon for the lunar pillar. But because the sun does not rule the solar pillar, it's not cardinal fire. It's Mars. So when you talk Freemasonry, when you talk the two pillars, you're talking the star and crescent, which is Islam. And so Freemasonry, what did the Templars come back with? All this knowledge. That's what they came back with. And this is why they venerate the star and crescent. Most people consider them sun worshippers. Indeed not. They don't like kings. They don't like authority unless they're the king. But no, they don't want that sun symbol there. They use lunar magic and war, which is Mars. Templars were a warring faction. They were, today we would just have called them soldiers, crusaders. There's a nice little term they used. But when you look at the whole picture, the big picture, each one tells you something. One, there's different tracing boards for different levels. This is called the entered apprentice. This is the first degrees of Freemasonry, which is where we have to start. So everything they put in here, depending on what lodge drew this, has a meaning. Everything has a meaning. The square and the compass on the floor, the pillars. We don't even know what this is back here. We can just keep guessing. You have you have the stone, and then the stone the builders rejected, is what I call it. The two stones. The one cut without hands, right? The stone cut without hands. So that's what, to me, these represent. To me, that's the pineal gland, the stone cut without hands. It's also where Moses struck the rock. So symbolism. Make sure you're doing the right thing, because to just have this X with the P going the other way, that really don't help at all. All that's doing is switching from toxic masculinity ruling this age over the top of it to toxic femininity ruling this age. And because this one rules, that's what's wrong with feminism now. Feminism is transgendered. Women don't have sports anymore because all the trans community they're taking all their records away when their chromosomes are not legitimately biologically female. They might have a female soul, a female mind, a female spirit, but nonetheless their biological bodies are male. Even if they have the surgery, the genetics remain the same. You can't change that. You can't change your DNA. You can't change your chromosomes. You're either born with an X chromosome for female or a Y chromosome for male. You're either and in alchemy or in some other languages, that Y would be represented as a J. You need to remember that too. So you can't change your chromosomes. In Japan, the big fad over there is, the social fad, is they judge everybody based on their blood type, whether you're AB, O, AB, positive or negative. It's about bloodlines. You can expect that to be moving here as well. Everything is, they're going to do everything they can to separate us, divide us, group us as they possibly can. Which, if we go back to every day being the best day ever, every day, and really see it for what it is, it's a good thing. Because Pisces is all about groupthink, power in numbers. They have to have the crowd involved. Sports, church, politics, social agenda. That's just the way they get it to manifest, is by groupthink. But as Aquarius moves in, groupthink is over. It's over, Rover. This is about individuality and individual sovereignty. Everybody gets to be the king. You open your pineal gland, you've got your own crown chakra. Most people with the upside down rainbow flag, you are sitting on your crown. So let's do the rainbow flag one more time, because it doesn't matter. There's going to be new people come on here and they're going to say, but when I look up, red is on top. And it never fails. There's going to be at least a dozen of you do that. Every single time I mention it, there's an argument about it. So let's go take a look. You can tell which ones are natural rainbows and which ones are CGI. But not all. Red on top, red on top. Here's one with purple on top, but that looks generated. I like it though. Let me save that. So the way nature produces it in the sky, you generally have the red on top with the purple on the bottom. But in the chakra system of the body, everything is mirrored. It's mirrored. So in your chakra system, below, the colors are in a different order. I just want the picture. Oh, that's a buy. No wonder it's not popping up. You have the red is the root chakra. The root chakra rules sexuality and emotion. The next one rules desire. The solar chakra is your power chakra. Then the heart chakra, throat chakra, crown chakra, and then the final one above, your higher self. It's connected to it. Here they all are in order. So when they put the rainbow flag down here, it should be flipped. As a matter of fact, I was really confused. About 4 or 5 years ago, I'd done a video on the chakras and I was upset because to me they were upside down. They'd put the wrong colors in the wrong place. And I had a lack of understanding. I hadn't put all the pieces to the puzzle together. So I kept wanting to flip the whole chakra system upside down. And now I realize that's exactly what they did. Because in your mind, it seems right. And that's hence all the arguments about it on the channel. So I've actually done the video to where I have to, this video to have to discredit my own videos before. As I come into more understanding of the knowledge, I get it now. I get it now. Now it makes sense. Because using alchemy, it's mirrored. The purple on my head is supposed to meet the purple in the sky, the higher self of the sky. And emotions, our emotions are the farthest thing from any of it. But the thing about it is it's a circle. Because you could just put red right back on top. And do it all around again. It can go in a circle. It takes red and blue to make the purple. So you put the red, and then it just goes right back around in a circle. The colors, the spectrum goes around. They bleed into each other. Oh, are you whining? what you need. Let me pause and see what she needs. All right, let's understand how to truly disempower a symbol. How do we want to create a symbol that will disempower a symbol without reversing it, turning it upside down, all of that? And it's called standing wave. It's a standing wave. You throw the same symbol back at it. Okay, don't. It's okay. It's just you neighbors. As you can see, you throw two rocks. When they meet, where they meet, they cancel each other out. It's called, wow. All right, Kelly said some of y'all are not paying attention. That was a wake-up call for you. It makes me jump out of my skin every time she does it, but I've decided to leave them in, that she's talking to you guys too. So back to standing wave. If you want to do, example, if you want to disempower this symbol, then you could easily over it, to truly disempower it, would be to add the whole thing. This would be a representation of the whole zodiac. You can't use one part though. You can do this with it going this way, but it needs to be over the one going this way, throwing it at it. Standing wave, disempower itself. But they need to be together or like that. All of this is called sigil magic. And in the flash drive library, there are books in there on sigil magic. The best sigil magic book I ever had, I no longer have anymore. And it was amazing. If I ever find it, I'll put it up for everybody. But speaking of the flash drives in the library, I need to say something. On the video flash drive request, click show more for a list of anchors around the world. I'm still adding anchors. So as they contact me, I'll be adding more anchors to it so that you can contact. But as I've said, and I posted in the community link, that Gina and Darryl have done it on the cloud. Now, the way they've done it, you need a password to get in. So you just come over here, copy this and paste it in your email. You send it to them with a request, and they'll give you a link to download the content you want. But that link will expire in 3 days. Now, this is not me. This is not my cloud. When you send an email here, you're not talking to me. When you send an email here, you're not talking to me. You're talking to these other people who have picked up the baton and are running with it. And I'll be adding more over here. I've still got some more. I just haven't got into my emails lately. There's so much going on. I'm trying to keep up the best I can. I'm just not very good at it. So remember, when you hit these anchors, you're not contacting me. Now, about the cloud. When I first put this up, they were kind of shocked. They got overwhelmed. They didn't realize how many people are requesting. I've already done thousands of these, literally thousands. But my channel is growing literally to the point of almost 100 subs a day now. That's how fast it's growing. I don't know where y'all are coming from, but I know the time is short and we're running out of time fast, and you got to bide your time. They're biding time, Biden. Great time, best day ever, best year ever, if you look at it the right way. We have time to read all of these books. We have time to get in touch with ourselves. We have time to reconnect. But as long as you're focused on the negative, then that's what you're going to get. What you put out there is what you're going to get back. The Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is about, it's a seal that happens in the heavens, and it's a generational marker. And it sets the stage for the next 20 years. So whatever you're doing this year, And into next year, as this seal is being, it actually won't be completed. The bigger seal won't be completed until the next eclipse. But this winter solstice, great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, that's a big freaking deal. Even without the other two eclipses. It's a big deal just for a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. It's a really big deal for it to happen on a winter solstice. It's a super big deal for it to happen between two eclipses in Saturn's house of Capricorn. It's just astronomically off the charts. So the powers that be have known about this for a long time. They've been preparing for this for over 100 years on how do they remain in power. Because I should call them the establishment, because that's what Jupiter is. Jupiter is empire, the establishment, religion, and ideology. And he rules desire. He's power hungry. He rules desire. So, yeah, they know they're fixing to, astrologically, they're fixing to be usurped. And so they're trying to figure out a way out of that. Like I've said, Saturn has moved into his own house and Jupiter's following. It looks like Jupiter is attacking Saturn, going into his own house, chasing him out of his house back into Saturn's house. And it looks like Jupiter has the upper hand. But that's just Saturn doing the here kitty kitty and getting ready to pounce because Jupiter's debilitated in Capricorn. Here is an updated version of the rainbow flag with purple on top, red on the bottom, the air sign for heaven, and the earth sign with the Saturn sign in the middle. There are 3 heavens on earth, and this one helps it, you put the Saturn there, that helps it denote that it's Aquarius and Capricorn, both ruled by Saturn. I'll be uploading a lot of these images you guys are sending into the community page. Let me show you. When you come on my channel, you just come over here to the community page and scroll down. And you'll start seeing the images, and I'll put posts. You can comment over here. You can download the images. Y'all can talk amongst yourself. I really don't have time to keep up with a lot of this. It's like the website that's coming. I'm going to be making the videos for it, but other people will be running it. I don't have time for it. I don't even have time to keep up with my comments and my emails. I'm pushing, well, considering all the channels, I'm over 10,000 subs now. And especially the new ones, they all want to talk. I get more emails than I do comments. Everybody, they don't want to speak out and be ridiculed or condemned or attacked. They're just leery, so most of you resort to emails, which is fine. If that's how you want to communicate, I completely understand. But you do have to be patient. I can't get to everybody. I just can't. It's impossible. This video feels like a patchwork quilt to me. Kelly keeps interrupting me. I keep having to pause. I can't count the number of times I've had to pause the video. She has a fetish for men, and she knows the neighbor's outside. And he's a guy, and she just dying for his attention, and he don't give her the time of day. All right, so every day could be the best day ever. My friend got T-boned, right? It looked like a bad thing, but after I got to thinking about what the T-bone is, he saw it in a way I did not. For him, his burdens were lifted. He couldn't have been more grateful. He didn't see anything bad about it at all. I was horrified. And a lot of what's going on, everybody's horrified. With all the beer bug, and there is no election. It's all fraudulent, 100%. There never really has been an election. We were usurped before this country was ever created. It was founded by a bunch of Freemasons. And the symbolism tells us who and what they really are. And there are different factions within that. Even within Freemasons, there's different lodges. There's solar pillar lodges and there are lunar pillar lodges, and they war against each other. They're at war right now. The whole thing was they had a pact to where the two became one. And they did that here in America with the Twin Towers. The Twin Towers represented the solar pillar and the lunar pillar. And they took the one called the lunar pillar and they put it over the solar pillar and shoved it down its throat. And astrologically, that's an eclipse. The moon over the sun. They become one. So it was an eclipse ritual. An eclipse ritual. But an eclipse passes. And that's why we're between those two eclipses. We're right in the middle of that, to where the moon usurps the sun, just like the same Jupiter's going to usurp Saturn. Let's look at Jupiter usurp Saturn. This is a symbol of what they give us, and they call it Nibiru. This is just a generated image, and this is what was given to us after the twin event. Then they started doing what I call P3 Lodge. P1 was Propaganda 1 for World War I. P2 Lodge is Propaganda for World War II. And now we're at P3 Lodge. And they came out with several things all at once. They played the 2012 card. They played the Nibiru card. And they played what I call the Abdullah Hashim card. If you don't know what that is, it's Hashim Films. Go check out Hashim Films, where they're starting to really reveal the information, but in a, in a very disturbing way, to say the least. But what Nibiru is an ancient Babylonian Aramaic name for Jupiter. It is still used today in a lot of the dialects. I've done the videos. You will find them on the Brighteon channel, under the old Lavette 11 channel. And I actually uploaded the video where the guy, it's an Arabic astrology teacher, is teaching the names of the planets in Arabic. And he goes through all of them. I have all of the names of all of the planets in Arabic from an Arabic astrologer, speaking it to you. And Jupiter has two names, and that is Nibiru and Mushtari. And Mushtari is where we get Mu, and where we also get mystery. Mushtari is mystery. So that's the mystery schools are all run by Jupiter as well. Now, Jupiter conjuncts Saturn every 20 years. But Nibiru doesn't happen every 20 years. They have to be really close together and really close to Earth. And this time we get Nibiru. We haven't had Nibiru in a long time. What Nibiru is it's a name for Jupiter when it eclipses Saturn at a certain degree, to where Saturn is perfectly behind Jupiter and they're at their closest point to Earth. So when you look at Jupiter, you can't see Saturn at all. All you see is Saturn's wings, Saturn's rings poking out the side of Jupiter. So it looks like Jupiter has wings, when it's actually Saturn's ring or Saturn's crown. And hence, he's trying to take the throne. To me, it's the same thing in Lodge 49, is Scott making himself sovereign protector when it belonged to Ernie the whole time. It never was his. It took him a while to figure out he was not a king, that the robes, the title, and the authority doesn't make one a king. And he gets in line when all of the planets or all of the chakras are under the control of the higher self, the crown chakra, Saturn. They all come in alignment. And Scott was much happier. He was happier than he was trying to talk his way into the throne. He was happier than he was when he finally took the throne. He finally found joy and happiness. And that's where we need to be. We need to find that joy in every day. We just got T-boned, but we can take that T-bone and we can do better than make the best of it. There are a lot of prophecies out there about doom and gloom and about technology and all of this crap. But there are prophecies out there too that talk about a group of people, that a lot of people in the future, that technology is going to be nothing because we're going to be able to manifest directly with our minds. And to me, that's the natural way. We all used to be telepathic. We're all telepathic now. It's just like our Wi-Fi card's been cut off. Our network adapter needs to be turned on. And that's your pineal gland, so that you connect to everybody else. It happens to us in what we call coincidences. When you're going to call somebody and you pick up the phone to call and they're already on the other end. Do you remember that? Do you remember that happening? Crazy things like that? When you're thinking about somebody and then you hadn't heard from them forever and then your phone rings. And it's them. That's the backdoor Wi-Fi card that's already working. You just don't know how to interface with it yet. And that takes practice. You got to learn. To me, learning is about trial and error. It's about a process of elimination. It's about looking at the pattern and finding the common denominator. Look at the patterns and find the common denominator. So, yep, Nibiru. This is a Nibiru event. This year's celestial event between Saturn and Jupiter. It happens every 20 years, but not like this. There are so many different variables for that conjunction, and they're all in play. Between two eclipses, on a winter solstice, in Saturn's house, with both of them coming out of retrograde. When a planet is in retrograde, it's its closest point to the Earth. So when they both come out of that retrograde and conjunct, they're so close to Earth, you can actually see Nibiru. It's the Nibiru event. And it only happens every 3,000 something years. And then, but for it to happen in Saturn's house and for it to happen on a winter solstice, I mean, this is unheard of. I've been going back in Stellarium for a long time and can't find this. This hasn't happened in a long, long time on this level of variables. It's not just the game changer. We're changing the game. All right, y'all know what to do. Go bank your karma. Got another one there too. Hold on, I got one more image for you. Go bank that good karma. These images I've been showing you of the rainbow flag and these are all courtesy of Mark. I will be putting them in the community page so that you can download them yourselves. But go bank that good karma. Y'all, and that's what we need to do. We need to find the T-bone steak in our T-bone today. And we need to make every day the good day. And that's all about perception. It's how you look at it. This can be the worst year of our... How does it start? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It's all from your perspective. You need to rise above the maze of it all. When you rise above the maze and become the observer, you coming out of the confusion. You start looking for the patterns, finding the common denominators, using the process of elimination, trial and error. And we're getting there. We're actually getting there. I never dreamed I would have a channel that would have pushing 10,000 subs. I didn't think this many people would agree with the way I look at the world. So I'm a bit shocked myself, but pleased, quite pleased. There are more of us out there than what we realize. And the common denominators for the people that are on this channel are uncanny. The number of people that have had their appendix removed, the number of people that are negative bloodlines, the number of people that have abusive, disruptive childhoods. It's just way beyond what you could call coincidence. The average population has 15% max of negative bloodlines, and that's ABO, AB, and all four of them is just a total of 15%. But on my channel, it's over 50%. At least it was back when I done it. I didn't have that many subs then, but the numbers haven't been changing that much. So many of us have these weird little idiosyncrasies that we all have in common, and I call them common denominators. All right, go bank that good karma, and I'd like to thank those of you that have donated to this channel. You're the gas in the tank that keeps this all going.